calls me up today. He goes, "Hey Steve." "Hey boss." "Did you see that we uploaded the entire third period and overtime in a Leafs Game 7 collapse against the Bruins in 2013? "No, why?" "Well, we were thinking about getting you to write something where you have to watch the entire thing." "Sounds amazing, can't wait!" So I did it. I watched it! I watched Jay McClement take almost every face-off. I watched the Leafs have the puck in their own zone uncontested, only to ice it for no good reason. I watched Horton score, I watched Bergeron score the first time, and I watched Bergeron score again! And as I watched James Reimer lie face down on the ice following the Bruins' overtime winner, I allowed myself one brief moment to regret the team that was. Until I remembered the team that they are! Replace Jay McClement with Austin Matthews, Matt Fratton with William Nylander, Ryan O'Byrne with Morgan Riley. And of course, the Bruins aren't the same team that they were in 2013 either. No hockey team in the salary cap era is able to stay the same for 5 years. But oh, the Leafs are different too. Alright, Steve, if you're done knocking your house down, I'd like to know what your prediction for the first round is, please. I was just gonna pick the Leafs, you think? Last year, I picked the Washington Capitals in 6 games. And I love the Leafs, but that's just what I felt. Guess what? Despite the valiant effort, the Leafs fell to the Washington Capitals in 6 games. I felt it. So what do I feel this year? Both goaltenders are going to have to be sharp, and I think both goaltenders will be sharp. Freddie Anderson has followed his usual trajectory. Terrible beginning, amazing the rest of the season, except for the final month, and then he improves in the playoffs. Tuukka Rask was a .915 goalie 3 years ago, a .915 goalie last year, and a .917 goalie this year. He is Tuukka Rask. In fact, it's Rask with .917 up against Anderson with a .918. Virtually identical. The Bruins would appear to have an advantage on defense. The Leafs have 2 50-plus point defensemen for the first time in over a decade in Morgan Riley and Jake Gardiner. Torrey Krug fell just 1 point shy of 60. Without injuries, he probably would have got there. And McAvoy with 32 points in 63 games as a 19-year-old rookie is looking pretty good too. Then of course there's Zdeno Chara. But he's 40-year-old Zdeno Chara. Hey, he was a Gronk at 35 in the infamous game 7. He had over 30 minutes of ice time, with like 10 minutes left to go in the game. But with him, because of his gargantuan size, it's not about the pain he can take, it's about the pain he can inflict. Oh, I'm sure it's still painful playing against him, but can he inflict the same kind of pain he did 5 years ago? JVR still picking splinters of his stick out of his back. According to the lineup tweeted by Fluto Shinzawa, the Bruins got Chara with McAvoy, Krug with Kevin Miller, Grizzlechik, a rookie, a 24-year-old rookie, with Adam McQuaid. Nick Holden as the extra. Grizzlechik, I think that's how you say his name, is 5'9" and like a $175, but on the other side of him is Adam McQuaid, who will cave your face in. Now that's definitely decent, but that strikes me as vulnerable as well. There's a lot of experience, there's a lot of inexperience too. And due to injuries and conditions, are we getting the max version of all of those guys? Are we getting the max version of Charlie McAvoy? If we are, yeah, I'd probably give him the advantage over the Leafs, but who knows? Here's their forward lineup, also courtesy of Fluto Shinzawa. Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. I mean, who's surprised by that? On paper, best line in the series, best line in the league, maybe. Jake DeBrusk, David Krejci, and Rick Nash. Now we get to the point where I think the Leafs can start exposing the depth of the Bruins. Danton Heinen, Noel Acciari, and David Backes. Again, are we getting the full David Backes? The center on that line has 11 points. Heinen, who you definitely should not sleep on, 47 points in 77 games as a rookie, is just that though, a rookie. Although we saw the havoc that rookies could wreak last year, didn't we? Schaller, Curley, and Wingles, or Curley, I think I called him Curly earlier in the season. Again, that's not a bad fourth line, I just think the Leafs is better. So I keep talking about the Leafs. What do they got? This is from dailyfaceoff.com. You know, I don't think there's any surprises here, do you? Hyman Matthews, Nylander, the big line. Marleau, Kadri, Marner, the Marquette line sticks. One of the most lethal lines in the second half of the season. Speaking of which, JVR, Bozak, Brown. Getting Brown in there, I think they're a much more complete line than they were at the beginning of the season, and they can use Bozak and JVR more on special teams. And speaking of special teams, Leo Komarov, Thomas Plekanec, and Kasperi Kapanen. 3 key penalty killers. Boston has a good one as well, but the Leafs is formidable. A lot of you were complaining, well, Komarov's in there over Andreas Janssen. Alright, well, step out of yourself for a second. The Bruins have one of those they're complaining about too. Ryan Donato's not playing. At least not to start. At least that's what it looks like. Also, you know who I couldn't help but notice looked good when I watched the highlights of Game 7? Leo Komarov! And with about 12 minutes to go in the third, Carlisle gave him his last shift. A decision so bad he said, F it, I'm going back to Russia. You're not even from there, Leo. I'm from like 5 different places. Leave me alone. Yes. That first line of the Bruins is ridiculous. But with forward depth like the Leafs have, they're going to be able to just roll guys out the door. I think the Leafs overwhelm them with their forwards at home, and I think they're able to stay with the Bruins easily on the road. But then again, that's not what any of you are concerned about, is it? Also from dailyfaceoff.com, we got Morgan Riley with Ron Hainsey, no news. Jake Gardiner with Nikita Zaitsev, not new. Travis Dermott with Roman Polak, you knew. Now, while I said the Bruins were softened up, let's hope Travis Dermott has a better showing than he did in Game 82. Is he 100% healthy? It wasn't a broken bone, it was just a stinger. They've had some days off. You would think he'd be fine by now. You got a lot of Bruins fans going, oh, Roman Polak. You know what? Polak has not been bad over the last month and a half. He's had his moments, but provided he doesn't break his leg, they should be okay. And another big thing that the Leafs ran into last year, Zaitsev got hurt and Polak got hurt. This year, their depth is good. A winger gets hurt, Andreas Janssen. Another winger gets hurt, Josh Levo. A center gets hurt, Dominic Moore. Or you shift one of the wingers to center and insert another one of the wingers. One of your right-hand D go down, Connor Carrick. One of your left D go down, potentially Connor Carrick, and you shift someone over. Maybe you call up Borgman or someone from the minors. Not every name I just threw out there is an all-star, but we know they can play because we've seen them. Last year it was kind of like, we'll give it a shot. Then there's the numbers versus the eyes. I'm not gonna quite go down the road that you think. I've been talking to my friend Andrew Jerkshire a little bit this past week. He thinks the Bruins are pretty good. He also thinks the Leafs are good. He just happens to think the Bruins are a little bit better. Here's my little sticking point though. The Bruins have the better numbers over the entire year. That's against everybody. But last season and continuing into this season, the Leafs have owned the Bruins. Oh, Freddie Anderson has this amazing record against them. McElhinney stole the show against them too. Oh, the Bruins are banged up. They didn't have Bergeron. In at least 2 of the wins, the Leafs didn't have Matthews. So in that sense, because the Leafs and Bruins have played a lot without Bergeron on one side, without Matthews on the other, it's a little confusing to know exactly how they match up. But based on their little battles so far, the Leafs have the edge. They just play them well. It's in the same way that the Devils, who the Bruins could be playing right now if they hadn't lost their last game against Florida, I don't want the Leafs to play against the Devils. Why? They don't match up well. I don't care what the numbers say. I've seen it, and they give the Leafs fits. I see the Bruins, and I go, that is a team the Leafs have shown they're capable of beating. With that being said, last year I said Caps in 6. I felt it in my gut, in my heart, and in my head. This year, all 3 of those things think it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a tight, hard-fought battle. A battle that the Toronto Maple Leafs will win! Not just because I want them to, not just because my therapist highly recommended it, but because I think it, I see it, I feel it! The Leafs are gonna get their revenge. The Leafs are going to slay this dragon! And then they will move on, where this will just be another chapter in the new story that they're writing. I say Leafs in 6. So, what do you think? What's going to be the story of the series? Is Chara going to be as big of a factor? Will the Leafs be able to resist Brad Marchand's shenanigans? Will the Leafs be able to stop Brad Marchand's prowess? Who is going to step it up for the Leafs? And who will be victorious? So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'm going to be doing a video after every game this series, every game of every series after that, because the Leafs have a dragon to slay.